Marcus Rashford looks like he may get his wish. You all laughed at me. Apparently, Barcelona are eyeing up a loan for Marcus Rashford, regardless of whether they sign Nico Williams from Athletic Bilbao. It looks like they're lining up a proposal for Marcus Rashford to go to Barcelona. Man United still want a permanent deal. Obviously, 40 million is the price tag. But let's be real. With those wages, we all know, in my opinion anyway, that it's going to be a loan. And it looks like Marcus Rashford is going to get his wish of playing for his dream club, Barcelona. For many years, it was PSG, flirting with this, flirting with that. But now it looks like Barcelona. And actually, everyone was sort of saying, how's this going to happen? He's never going to get his move. He ain't going to be able to go there. Well, there's journalists and a lot of reports suggesting that even with Nico Williams' potential move to Barcelona, Marcus Rashford could also be on his way there by a loan. Owen, Marcus Rashford, what's going on? Is it?
Well, look, it's Barca or nothing. It certainly seems like, isn't it? We've heard the talk and the chatter and the suggestion that he only wants Barca, and maybe Barca do want him. It's just a case of it's not going to be on a permanent. Jamie Jackson reporting yesterday that Barcelona are still keen on a loan move for Marcus Rashford, even if they sign Nico Williams this summer. Many people thought that signing the Bilbao winger meant that no move for Rashford, but there could be a different position that Rashford could play in. Now, Ben Jacobs has said that Barca are considering a loan move for Marcus Rashford, even though their number one priority is Nico Williams. Rashford's clear preference is Barcelona, and he is willing to play in a more central role in Hansi Flick's system. Rashford, critically, has no future at Old Trafford under Ruben Amorim, but Manchester United want £40 million. It remains to be seen whether they sanction a loan. And again, this is really what people are talking about, going, is there really any interest in a permanent move for Rashford? Because he only wants Barca, therefore Manchester United's hands are quite tied when it comes to all that. Paul Hurst is also saying that Barcelona are preparing a loan offer for Rashford, even if they sign Nico Williams. Manchester United, like Ben Jacobs said, want this permanent move with the player valued at £40 million. Manchester United will demand a loan fee, and Barcelona will have to bear the full salary, which is north of £300,000 a week, if indeed they loan him out. Once again, we know the issues when it comes to doing any kind of deal, loan or permanent with Barcelona. It is financial. Can they even afford that kind of wage? Big wages and big transfer fees are what got them in trouble in the first place. And that's why they have to sell seats for stadiums that don't yet exist, etc., etc. So, yes, I mean, it looks like he's doing everything he can to try and make this happen. If you thought that the Nico Williams thing marked the end of it, no. So much so that he now isn't even viewing himself as a left winger anymore, because they would sign Williams to play as a left winger. They've already got other left wingers that are probably better than Marcus Rashford. So now the suggestion is he's going to play as a striker. We saw in a recent interview he did about how he says he's idolized Thierry Henry as his sort of striker idol, and he likes playing as a striker, which is obviously very different to what he said, a couple of years ago, but in the interview with Gary Neville. And as is always the case, I wanted to make sure I found this quote. And
Owen always gets the receipts.
Because I thought, well, what if maybe this is one of those things where, you kind of misremember interviews. You go, did he say that before? I remember it. So I had a look, and this was it's actually on the Manchester United website right now, folks. When they spoke about his interview that he did with Gary Neville, it was on the overlap. And in it, he was asked about where he prefers to play. He said, and I quote, "I prefer to play left wing, although I feel like when I play centre forward, you have less distance to cover to score simple goals. Whereas when you're on the left wing, if you are late sometimes, making the back post is a 20, 30-yard sprint. If the striker pulls to the back, you've got to go across the front. Then it's another 15 yards. I prefer the left. I feel like on the left, it's easier to stay in the game. From even when I was younger, I always wanted to stay in the game. That's why I think I struggle playing centre forward sometimes, because I struggle with patience. You might not touch the ball for 20 minutes, and then your first touch might be an opportunity to score. You have to be mentally switched on, and it's almost like being a goalkeeper. You might not be involved in the game for God knows how long, but when it's time to make a save, they have to make it. I've never enjoyed that aspect of playing it. He does say, to his credit here, as I've got older, I've started to enjoy it a lot more when I do play up there. But yes, he prefers to play left wing, and now it's very much actually striker Ashy.
Yeah. I think that he'll get. I think he'll probably get his move on loan. I can't see where else it's going to happen. So, firstly, I think that will probably happen. But I just take all that with a pinch of salt, because if he goes there, it'll be his dream move. He'll run around, he'll try, he'll do all right in that team. Whether he plays on the left, he'll accept a squad role, obviously, from where he's coming from as well, where he's trying to build back his career and his perception. He'll take whatever role's given to him. So that is a bit of a humbling side to it, because it's Barcelona, bigger than Rashford. Well, we're bigger than Rashford, but you get what I mean. No disrespect to Aston Villa, but he can't go there and rule the roost. Do you know what I mean? There's big players there. They're champions. You know what I mean? They're building a really, really great team. And there's genuine world-class players in that team, which Marcus is not that. So I think it will humble him, and he'll just accept the squad role. If they get Nico Williams as well, I think that would probably push Rafinha in one to like a 10. You still got Dani Olmo can play the 10. And then he'll play a mixture of, Lewandowski's 36 now. Not going to play every single game. Barca are going to be involved in every single competition you'd expect to the latter stages, playing 50-odd games. And he'll just take the squad role and bet on himself, to be fair to him. He'll bet on himself to play well and, work really hard. Now, people are talking about Flick's system and how he may struggle with it and stuff. That's the challenge. You want to go there. These are the levels, bro. Like, Show says in Flick's system, it requires a very technical striker, hence Lewandowski. Rashford will be massively exposed there. That's the challenge.
And we're also here, Eminem says, weird to see a lot of fans not wanting him to go to Barcelona to be proved right. I don't think that's the case at all. I think the frustration with Rashford going to Barca is the fact that he is so hyper-focused on that move that it basically means that no other move is possible. And we know the move to Barca would be perhaps a temporary one, because it would be a loan. Would there be an obligation? Would there be an option? Can Barca even afford that? And I think that's the frustration. I don't think it's a case of, I don't want him to go to Barcelona because what if he does really well there and will look terrible? Like you said, Flex, he'll be going into a team that's just won the league. So of course he'll get numbers. Like he'll do well. He might not be playing every single game. There are better players there ahead of him. But look, they're in a lot of competitions. It's a big season. He'll do fine there. He'll do fine. I don't think it's a case of, I don't like the Garnacho thing again. I don't want Garnacho to go somewhere and be successful. He's not going to be successful because he's rubbish. You go, well, that's not true. The reality of the frustration is with Rashford with this is all of that has slowed down. Like we've been earmarking our Rashford, he's got to go, and Garnacho's got to go, and Anthony's got to go. People are praising Anthony because he's trying to do what he can to go. I'll drop my wages. Yeah, maybe he's pigeonholed himself with Real Betis. They've just sold a player this morning to Atletico, so they're getting money through the door. You go, okay, that one's suddenly a bit more feasible. I mean, the frustration with Rashford to Barca is, one, people's perception is, mate, get a bit real. Are you even good enough? Secondly, it's, well, if Barca don't want you and you only want Barca, then what do we do?
What happens to you? Yeah.
What happened? Are we going to be scrambling around on deadline day again, like we were in January, because you wanted to go to Barca in January, but they couldn't get you in January, so you ended up going to Aston Villa with a couple of days to spare. That's the frustration.
What is one for you?
I want to be proved right. I mean, maybe some. I mean, there's always.
There's definitely a lot of people who want to see him absolutely not score another goal again.
But I never get that.
No, but here's one for you. I was speaking to Dan Bardell yesterday, obviously my Villa mate, Villa correspondent, broadcaster, friend, colleague, etc. He's well across everything Villa, and he was saying that Monchi has said publicly that they would have Rashford back, and he thinks, and it was the first time that's why it's good to connect with other fans and see what's going on the other side of stuff, because we only just think one way, and he thinks that this will rumble on all summer and he'll end up back at at Villa. Like maybe on another loan.
I'd be
stuff.
shocked.
And actually, when he said it, I goes, that's not even something I've even discussed really here. I haven't even really thought about that. And that could be true. Obviously, now I know the news this morning kind of goes against that theory because it's saying that they're going to do a loan for Barca. But if that did fail, my question has always been, like what you just said, Owen, is if you don't get your move to Barca, what happens to you? I didn't really think of that. I think Villa probably would be there. But then I was saying to Dan, I was like, how would that make Villa fans feel? That, again, he's used you as a stepping stone the first time just to go and play some football, get a smile on his face, get back in the shop window. There's an option to stay. I think that Villa didn't really exercise that option because, let's be honest, they probably spoke to Marcus and said, we would probably want you, but what are you saying? Want to go Barca, mate. So I'll see how it goes during the summer, see if they want me. if they don't want me, yeah, I'll come and do another loan with you guys. And how does that look to Jacob Ramsey? How does that look to Leon Bailey? How does that look to Donyell Marlon, who play in the wide areas? You know, and you say, I'm coming back in for a year to stunt your growth. I think Barca will probably be ready for me the next year while they get a little bit more financially stable. Don't know when they're moving into the new stadium, if it'll be done by the following year. Probably is. Don't know. But, you know, yeah, I'll probably go back there. So what does that look like? But apparently Monchi, who's obviously their top guy, I think he's their director of football or their whatever, has said publicly that he couldn't Dambada, and I know he's reliable, he said that they want him back. So, yeah, I think this is just a case of, is someone really being in control of their career? And look, as us as fans, we've seen the mishaps, we've seen the lack of consistency, we've seen the struggles that he's had on and off the pitch, where he hasn't looked right for a long time, sprinkled with 2 good seasons, I think I would say. The 30-goal one where he got the new contract, and there was another one with Ollie, was that 19, 20, with Martial?
Yeah, the one, the one when... And look, and this is the argument people make, because they'll go like, yeah, that season he played, he had a bad back, and he got that next season late.
And he speaks a lot about that himself.
He broke his back, and you know, and he had ankle problems. And again, that's why I think it almost gets lost in all of this, because it gets so vitriolic that people will go back to that and be like, yeah, he broke his back for this club, and he played through injury, so he deserves respect. And stuff like, oh no, and he's done an interview of, oh no, but Man United said first, and this, that, and the other. As a football fan, I look at a person who I go, well, he hasn't looked happy in a while, you know, playing for Manchester United. As an England fan, I'd like to see him playing better. I don't think he does that at Man United anymore. I think too much has happened. I think the relationship is too far gone. It's too toxic, and he needs to go. And I think a move abroad for him would be good. I'll be completely honest about how he does once he leaves Man United. I don't really care, because I don't really care for any player when they leave Man United. Like, that's just not my style of football fan.
Yeah, just let them go off into the sunset.
I'm just like, if they do well, fair enough. If they don't do well, I don't care either way. It doesn't make me feel any better. It doesn't make me, you know what I mean? I don't get that. I don't care with that. I just, like I said, the thing that does frustrate me is I worry, a bit like really what Dan Bardau was saying there, is I can very much see a reality whereby it's like, okay, the Barca one didn't happen, or because Barca trying to make the finances work, it's really late on in the window. Then it's like, we'll revisit in January. And then it's a last day scramble to get him out on loan to possibly a Premier League club. And once again, for his sake, it's just procrastinating, really, isn't it? It's just pushing stuff off.
But you know what, Owen? I do feel, yeah. Actually, the more I think about it, there's no way he doesn't leave. He's going to leave on loan to someone.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, look at the Ben Jacobs thing. He said there is no future for him.
It's not going to happen. Exactly.
He wasn't putting him in the squad.
And actually, we say, yeah, he's not going to be there, bro. He's not going to be there. Yeah. And we can say what we like about Rashford from our analysis and from what we've seen about how we think that he feels about his career, his ego, whatever it is, because I don't tell people how to feel. Whatever it is that your stance is on how you feel about Rashford. One thing, in my opinion, I think that when crunch comes to crunch, not now, but when push comes to shove and he's backed into a corner and it's late on, the same like it happened in January, he will secure a loan move somewhere. Even people that we're not talking about now. Dare I say, Arsenal saw an opportunity. Chelsea wanted to bolster because they didn't get Garnacho and they were still looking. And actually, it just, because you got to remember, clubs respond to the situation. Villa came out of nowhere. When we were like, where's Rashford going to go? It was still about Barca. There was a little bit about Dortmund. It was all abroad. AC Milan was one.